Hi everybody, welcome back. I first want to start off by apologizing because in the last video I made a huge math error. I said that 25% of $52,000 was $9,440 when in reality it's actually $13,000. So I'm actually a little bit disappointed because it was only brought to my attention by one person. So that means somebody has to start a math channel on YouTube. So I'm thinking about getting into that, but I don't really know yet. No, I'm actually not going to. But maybe you want to do that. So anyhow, moving on, today I want to talk about our RSPs and the pros and cons of them. Or in my opinion, anyhow, the pros and cons. And once again, this is just to educate you more. This is not what I think you absolutely have to do. You can make your own decision with your money. So, quite often you will hear these financial advisors talking about if you start saving now, by the time you retire with your retirement plan, you're going to be a millionaire. And usually those interest rates that they use will make it so that that can happen. But in reality, like in my time, it hasn't proven that it will actually work. So, I'll do a little demonstration on one of those scenarios that they might use. And so we'll just imagine that there's two twin brothers and their names are John and David. And let's get started here. There's John, here's David. Now when John's 25 years old, he puts in $10,000 into a retirement plan with a rate of return of 6%. He will have a grand total of $102,857,000. And then David over here, he waits 10 years to start. So he parties it up, does all the fun stuff, and then 10 years later he finally drops in $10,000. And these are just one-time events. Lots of people will do it yearly or, I don't know, monthly or whatever. But this is just for the sake of this argument. And that will leave him with $57,434. And if you think you're really smart because you can see my cheat sheet up here, you are pretty smart because that is a cheat sheet. And so there you have it. So you can see that if you just start 10 years earlier, you're going to almost be double than what John will almost double what David did. But I mean, I kind of think this is make believe because like I haven't really seen 6% return on like mutual funds or whatever retirement plans. But maybe that'll change. I don't know. So, and like on the internet, you can do your own math with these like calculators for retirement plans. And one of the things that they don't allow you to do is like a negative. So you can't, if the stock markets crash one year, you can't put in like, oh, they went down 10% and then see how much you would have in the end. Because, I don't know, I guess it just doesn't work that way. They don't want you to look at it that way. So they're a little bit more optimistic. Their range was 2% to 20%. Can you imagine 20%? Crazy. So, yeah, that was kind of my first beef with that. The other thing is that you got to remember is that, like, RRSPs, they seem pretty sweet because when you put the money in, you're gonna get a huge tax break. So they're gonna give you another huge chunk of change in return. So what usually happens is people are like, sweet, and then they go out and they blow their tax return. That's generally what people do. So, but really, you should be saving that money because in the end, when you pull out your retirement savings plan when you're retired, you actually have to pay income on that. You have to declare that as income. So it's kind of just like the government's giving you a loan and hoping that you're going to make a lot of money with it. So, and then in the end you'll still benefit, but you got to just kind of be prepared that even though John has 102, he still has to pay income tax on that. And same with David with his 57. So in that way it's a I don't know, like they don't really tell you that, or I'm sure they would if you asked them, but maybe they won't tell you that straight off the bat. The other thing, what can I say? Oh yeah, you can use your retirement plan for, like, if you're going to buy your first property or your first house, for like your first time home buyer's plan, they call it. So that's kind of nice, and I did do that, but I actually, got burnt, and I will explain that. What I did, I was still living with my mommy and my daddy, and I went out and I bought an apartment, and I rented it out, and I used my retirement plan for that, and I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. But it turns out that if you don't move into your property within a year, then you're not allowed to do that. And so what happened was, I had the place for like 4 years, and then the Revenue Canada started contacting me and was like, "Oh, did you actually move into your place within the year?" And I was like, "No." And they were like, "Okay, then you have to give us our money back." So then I had, then you have to pay the taxes on the rrsps. So that really sucked. So don't do that. The other thing is that when you take the money out for buying your first house, you do have to pay that money back within 12 years, which kind of sucks, because then you're going to be having all these other payments that you have to make because you have a house now, and now you have to pay back your RRSP. So just be prepared for that. What else can I tell you? If you are going to do it, I would really recommend asking other people how well they're doing with their RRSPs. Maybe they know their interest rates. Maybe if you do have one, maybe you should check your interest rate, see what you're actually getting, see if you are making money on it, and see what kind of number you can put in there, because I'm sure a lot of people don't even know. They just throw their money in there and then blow their income tax return. So that's pretty much the gist of it, I think. Let me double check my notes here. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, that is about it. So, I don't know, hopefully you got something out of that, and yeah, maybe think tax, or the RSP season is just around the corner, so hopefully you're a little bit more smarter about it now. So once again, thanks for watching Money Talks with Johnny D, and maybe I'll see you